to welcome everybody. I'm Lori Pepinella. I'm CEO of the Southern Ocean County Chamber of Commerce and one of the trustees of the Pro-NJ Grantor Trust that you're going to find out all about today. So I also wanted to welcome in Vicki and Michael. Vicki from Cape May County Chamber, Michael from the Greater Atlantic City Chamber, to say a few words. So good morning, everyone.
Again, as Lori said, I'm Vicki Clark, President of the Cape May County Chamber of Commerce, and we're very happy to be partnering in today's presentation and bringing this information to everyone joining us here today. It's an exciting opportunity to find out how businesses can take advantage of this grant opportunity and expand their business opportunity in this new industry that's in the Cape May, Atlantic, and Southern Ocean County footprint. So we're all here to learn more about this program. I'm certainly excited to find out what all the opportunities are. And it's my pleasure now to turn it over to my colleague, Michael Chape.
Thanks, Vicki. As always, it was great to see you and Lori, everybody else in the room. Lori and Vicki kind of said it all already. I'm the president of the Greater Atlantic City Chamber, and this is a tremendous opportunity for our small businesses, our women-owned businesses, our minority-owned businesses in these three counties that we mentioned. We're glad to see that everybody's here joining us today to learn more, and that's what this exercise is. We're going to learn a lot about this program and see what the opportunities are and keep all of our members up to date as to what other opportunities are coming, because what's come out of this pandemic is certainly a lot more collaboration than probably we've ever seen and certainly needed. So I greatly appreciate working with Lori and Vicki. I worked with them in a number of different capacities in years prior, but working with them now has been tremendous. And Lori, correct me if I'm wrong, this is being recorded, correct?
It is, yes.
Excellent, excellent. So I'm going to turn it back to you.
Thank you.
But thank you everyone for joining us.
Yeah, this is really a great way to start this opportunity. And again, one of the things that got me so excited about it is, we're focusing on Ocean, Atlantic, and Cape May counties. There's a new industry that's going to help our traditional businesses expand and maybe rethink their role in doing business in the state of New Jersey and certainly within this offshore wind industry. And we want to give everyone a chance to learn more about it, the capacities, and certainly, we have some great people here to speak, which I'll introduce in just a few minutes. But really today we're gathered to talk about the opportunities surrounding offshore wind and address the elements of this Pro-NJ Grantor Trust. And I had agreed to serve as a volunteer member because this helps small business, it helps women-owned business, and also minority-owned business position themselves to gain access to what is going to be the fastest growing industry in the state. So we want to provide this overview, even though I am sure you're going to be hearing a lot more about the trust, about offshore wind. This is sort of our first presentation to our chambers on what this could mean. So if we go to the next slide here. So it's governed by three trustees, Belinda Manning and Beverly McCall. They are with Cape May and Atlantic counties. I represent Ocean County. We also have an advisory committee of 9 New Jersey professionals that also volunteer their time. And they're going to be reviewing expressions of interests and applications. We also have Janine LaRue, who is founder of the LaRue's Report, and Liz Thomas, who's on the call with us this morning from Thomas Boyd Communications. They're both locally owned small business, women-owned businesses, so we're happy to have them on board. And also the trust itself is managed by Seth Timpton. He's the partner in charge of Florio, Perucci, Steinhardt, Capelli, Timpton, and Taylor. So he's the one, their office is the one that actually oversees, we'll be talking about the letters of interest or the expressions of interest as the trust refers to it. And their office is the one that really vets everything. So we're gonna be talking a little bit about them as well. And then of course, I want to introduce Vince Mayone, Director of New Jersey Market Affairs for Orsted, who's on. He's smiling and waving. There he is. And he's going to talk about the origins of the trust and the status of the Ocean Wind Project. So thank you, Vince, for being here this morning.
Thank you, Lori. Good morning, everyone. Great seeing all familiar faces, so many familiar faces, so many folks that I haven't seen all year because of this god-awful pandemic. So always good to at least see you virtually. So I think you all can agree with me that having Lori and Belinda and Beverly were extremely fortunate to have those strong leaders in South Jersey leading this effort. So we're very honored. On behalf of Orsted, we thank them, tremendously for what they're doing for South Jersey. And just want to give you a quick overview. Everyone on this call probably knows about the project, but just talk a little bit about how we got here and what this whole journey has been. Orsted, as you know, was awarded back in mid 2019, the first utility scale offshore project in New Jersey. So we're very honored to be bestowed upon us the extreme honor and the burden of building the first offshore renewable wind turbine project in New Jersey. So if we go back to the other slide, I kind of missed some of the points on the other slide. This is significance of having someone, a partner of such as Orsted, building the first project. So I'm sure this was recognized by the state. Orsted is the largest offshore developer in the world. As all of you, or many of you probably know, these projects were first developed in Europe, in the North Sea area, in the Scandinavian sections of Europe. And they are slowly migrating to Asia, and they're coming to North America. So you can see the capacity, the size of the projects that are installed, the number of turbines that they've installed, 1,500, tremendous amount of turbines. They have a tremendous history of building. They were the first to build the offshore wind project, first to build the largest, and now the first to build a utility scale project. There was a first in Block Island. There were 5 turbines, 30 megawatts. This is going to be 1,100 megawatts off the coast between Atlantic, some of Ocean, but mostly Atlantic and Cape May counties. So go on to the next slide. So I kind of went over most of this, but with the proposal that was made to the Board of Public Utilities, Orsted committed through the project that we call Ocean Wind. So you'll see those kind of names interchangeable between Orsted, which is the parent company, and Ocean Wind, which is the specific project you see in blue on your screen there. That is the lease area that was acquired from BOEM and the Department of the Interior. They identified that blue area. That was an area that could develop, that energy could be developed in that area. It could be any energy that the federal government deems appropriate. Obviously, the state of New Jersey would like to have renewable energy built in that blue area. So that's the area that Orsted owns and leases that area. So the lease area begins about 8 miles from shore. So that's the beginning part of the lease area, and extends out about 24, almost 25 miles out to sea. So, and we've committed to the first structures wouldn't be closer than 15 miles from shore, and then they would be roughly about a nautical mile apart, and a nautical mile separation between the structures. And obviously, once completed, they would service over 500,000 homes in New Jersey. So with the obligation and with the commitment that was made to the state, they committed to creating this Pro-New Jersey Trust Fund. So the company committed $50 million over the life of the project construction period, which is about 7 years. So they committed to provide $2 million per year. That's where the $6 million that's presently available was determined. So from 19, 20, and 21, there's $6 million available, and there'll be $2 million placed into this fund in the trusted hands of our trustees to decide. They have sole control of all these funds. They are the fiduciaries of this fund. They have sole control. We have complete faith in their skills and their ability to distribute the funds as appropriately as possible. And we're very excited about the opportunities that are going to become available to as many citizens in New Jersey. And the second tranche would be the infrastructure that projects that could be available within Ocean, Atlantic, and Cape May counties. So on this slide, we talk about the various accomplishments we've signed. Obviously, the work that's going to be done is within collaboration with the National and North American Building Trades Unions. So we signed an MOU with those. A lot of you have probably heard about the Paulsboro development. We're working with the Gloucester County folks and the South Jersey Port Corporation, the state, and with EEW to build the monopile facility, which is the structures. See on this picture, the yellow part, the yellow that goes into the water. That's what we call the monopile structures. Those will be actually, some of that will be painted, sanded, and manufactured at that facility with a future plan to actually build those cylinders in Paulsboro. So we're very happy to have a partner with PSEG, which is the non-regulated part of public service. So as you know, there's a parent entity and there's the regulated part of the entity and the unregulated part of the entity. The unregulated part of the entity that does a lot of generation across the eastern part of the country, they are our partners with Ocean Wind. So we're pleased to have their knowledge and their ability and their skills help us with this Ocean Wind project. So right now we're waiting for the notice from BOEM, which is the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, to give us what we call as the NOI, the Notice of Intent. That official notice starts the review process of the federal government. So we're actually waiting for that process to start. It's like the start gun. That gives us the start gun where the federal government, through all the agencies, reviews the entire construction and operating plan that the team has worked on for a few years now to develop. And then as you see, the last note we have there is that the structure is going to be the most advanced wind turbine generator in the world, the GE Heliade X, which is a 12 megawatt unit. So it's going to be the most powerful and create the most amount of energy of any turbine in the world. And we're going to be we plan on using that for this project.
Okay, so, thank you, Vince.
Thank you. And if you have any questions, I'll be here.
Yes, absolutely. And I know there are probably plenty of people with questions, but right now we're going to introduce Julia Courtry from the New Jersey Economic Development Authority. And she's going to talk to us a little bit about the overall state opportunities surrounding offshore wind. So thank you again, Julia, for joining us this morning. And we appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lori. And again, I'm Julia Courtry. I'm a senior project officer at the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, which supports the sector development as well as the new development of the New Jersey wind port, which I'll talk about further in a few minutes. So if you're not as familiar with the offshore wind industry in New Jersey and our commitment thus far, we have an incredibly strong political commitment to the wind industry with Governor Murphy's clean energy agenda from 100% clean energy by 2050 to committed 7,500 megawatts of offshore wind over the next 8 years. And we will expect to double that at least in order to reach our clean energy goals by 2050. And then our approach to offshore wind is not solely focused on the excellent benefits we get from clean energy, but also what economic development and supply chain value they can bring to the state. So as we evaluate and bring additional offshore wind farms into commission through our solicitations at the BPU, we also have a strong emphasis on local content and economic development so that clean energy and offshore wind specifically translates into good quality jobs. And that means investing in manufacturing, other support services for the industry. And probably the biggest investment right now is our focus on port infrastructure. So as you heard earlier, the Port of Paulsboro has the EW monopiles manufacturing facility. We are also investing in the New Jersey wind port, which provides a distinct services and opportunities for the industry. So this will be in Lower Alloways Creek, Salem County, New Jersey. It'll be the first purpose-built offshore wind port in the United States for both marshaling and manufacturing. So we'll be kicking off construction by the end of this year with the first available parcels going online in 2023. So this allows, basically acts as a hub for all of the components to be gathered, staged, assembled, and put onto vessels to go out into the ocean for installation, as well as the manufacturing of major components. So having this big hub asset really allows for the ancillary services and other big investments to really focus in South Jersey, and that will extend beyond Salem County, of course, to the rest of the state, but really helps support investments nearby in the southern half of the state. So you can see here, it's over 200 acres for marshaling and manufacturing over the next 6 years. There'll be construction and development from essentially 2021 through 2026. The equivalent of 2 to 4 manufacturing facilities opening up at the port by its final completion in 2026. In terms of economic impact, we expect $300 to $400 million infrastructure investment to develop the first phase of the project. As I mentioned before, construction will start later this year and begin opening the facility in 2023. And over 1,500 permanent jobs are expected once the port is actually finalized, and over $500 million in new annual economic activity. So while this is largely focused on the big components like blades and nacelles and other large components, there's also a large need for supporting tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 components. So whether that's the covering on a nacelle or the coatings that need to be put on the components so that they are weatherproof and able to withstand the conditions of the ocean. There are many ways smaller businesses can plug in and diversify and support the work of these larger components, construction and manufacturing. I also want to note that specific to the wind port, we have made several commitments, including constructing the port using union labor and setting a new standard for minority and women-owned businesses. So one, the 15% set aside for minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses to support the construction and development of the port. We've also stood up an advisory committee to support diversity and local engagement in both workers and firms in the development of the port, but that also will extend beyond as we think about operations and manufacturing and other ancillary services. And then I'd also just like to note that we're seeking to develop the port in an environmentally responsible way and in a way that enables competition. So this will be a net neutral asset. It'll be available to all developers and manufacturers to bid competitively to use the port. Lastly, I wanted to touch on a specific resource for New Jersey-based businesses, our offshore wind supply chain registry. So this is an opportunity for you to raise your hand, indicate your interest in the industry, provide information about what capabilities your company may have or interest in participating, as both developers, manufacturers, and both here domestically and abroad are looking for partners in New Jersey. This is a one of the first places they go to find those companies. And so if you're interested or if you haven't already, you can go to njeda.com/offshore wind, and there you can sign up for the offshore wind supply chain registry for New Jersey. So that's all from my end. Would you like me to stop sharing and then you guys can take back over?
I think we're
great.
Back on share. So if we can load back up the PowerPoint on the other end, we go. Thank you. So this is a perfect segue. Thank you, Julia, very, very much. That was just a great overview of just how much potential there is. And the registry was a great segue to how to apply, because really what the trust is looking to do is to create an opportunity for businesses to retool some of the operations to fit into this offshore industry, which is certainly going to be expanding in the next few years. So we're going to start talking about the expressions of interest and the review process. So, as some of the earlier conversation about the trust took place when it started being formalized in the spring, again, I want to also make sure that you realize this is the trust is a separate entity. It's independent. So again, a lot of what we're talking about is, in a broad sense of the industry as a whole. So when we started the application process, we really didn't want it to be too burdensome for small businesses. There are 2 steps involved, and we hope the first one, which is an expression of interest, might make it easier to apply. We didn't want people to put together large proposals and, just not qualify. So we wanted that initial expressions of interest. So if you are a business, you're looking for funding, this is a way to sort of, dip your toe into the process and see if this is a project that we might be able to work with you on, fund, in steps, or at least go back and forth to figure out how it can be evolved so that it might at one point be able to get funding. So the expressions of interest is actually taking place now. The application itself is just a few pages, and you're going to outline your proposed project, provide some supporting documentation, and submit by March 5th. And again, we have all that information on our website. We'll share all that, the details with you at the end of the presentation. So once we have closed the window for the expressions of interest, the trustees, with the help of the 9-person advisory council, are going to review the proposals along with our trust manager. After we review, we're going to reach out to the individuals that match the trust criteria and ask you to submit formal proposals. And we're going to make ourselves available to discuss the process so your submission could be as complete as possible. This is not a state or a federal grant. This is a private grant. So the rules are going to look a little different than anyone that's used to, maybe working directly with the state or federal governments. So the proposals will be reviewed, the awards will be granted. The full amount will not be awarded up front, but it'll be split into payments based on, the approval that you get. So it's really important that you're, the trust, this money is not to basically be working directly with Ørsted. You're applying for dollars that's going to help your business be ready for whatever industry you can do business with as part of this growing offshore, expanse in New Jersey. So this is not just to do business with one particular company. This is for your business to grow as you see fit with any of these offshore needs. And as Julia has mentioned, especially with the, the wind port, there are a lot of different things that may apply. So for the expressions of interest, we have the next slide. The application window is now open. It closes March 5th. And again, we are looking for businesses that are considered in the small business category, women-owned businesses or minority-owned businesses. Any one of those 3 criterias. We are certainly anticipating, awarding successful applicants, by the summer. So we're excited about that. And then there is a second request for expressions directed towards coastal resiliency that is going to be a whole separate presentation dealing with those organizations or municipalities that might want to work working towards resiliency. So it's important to understand that this is only the first open window, that there will be more. This is just the initial opening. As Vince said, this is over the course of several years. So we want you to be as educated as possible. We want you to look at your business strategies and see the growth of what the state is moving towards, so that you can position yourself in the best light for you to be part of it. And our volunteer team, as well as all of our professionals that are working with us, they're going to continue to provide educational webinars, informational material, just to help you familiarize yourself with not only what the trust is looking to do, but also the industry overall and how you can be a part of it. So the next field is really, again, talking about the types of businesses that should be thinking about the industry as a whole, as well as maybe retooling some of your operations. So we tried our best to identify specific job types, as you see on the list, but there are probably many that are not listed. So again, this was just a initial offering to give some of businesses some idea of how they fit in. Now, as small businesses, you may or may not qualify to, again, as I mentioned, to work just with Ørsted. This is for any particular developer or member of the supply chain. We're looking to build subcontractors to fit into a sustainable supply chain for the industry's growth in the state. So you will more likely qualify as a subcontractor for some of these listings, but we certainly want to get as much information out as possible. We know that Ørsted, in particular, scores. They have RFP responses, and they do work with several local and small businesses as subcontractors. This doesn't necessarily guarantee you that you're going to be working with Ørsted. It's to build your business so that you can work with many different suppliers, subcontractors, whether it's the wind port or whether it's different lease projects. So we want you to think broadly when you apply. So once you have decided to apply and we begin to award the grantees, we're going to be sharing the information with the Ørsted procurement team to assess whether your business is eligible as well. But again, you're not limited to just that. So the next slide, please. Okay, so this is the information that is going to house a lot of what we went over. Again, the website is the Pro-NJ Trust.org. That is grant specific. At this point, it's EOI specific. If you want to get in touch with the trust manager who could give you more definitive information, it's info@ProNJTrust.org. That's the email. We also have a website if you're interested in looking at the supplier portal for Ørsted, as well as the NJEDA supply chain registry, which is very important. I think that's a great takeaway from today as well. And before we close out and do some final comments, Liz is on, and I know you had some information about some of the interest that we've been getting through our trust manager. If you could share that with us this morning. This is Liz, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay, Lori?
Yes.
Okay, so we are very fortunate to be a small woman-owned business promoting the, can you up the volume? Promoting the
You're
existence.
Just getting feedback, Liz. You're getting a lot of feedback.
There we go.
Okay. I'm not sure how to control that. Is that any better, Vince?
It is.
Okay, just let me know. I'm not really sure. So we're a small woman-owned business who has the pleasure to be promoting the existence of the trust. We are using every social media tool available to us. We are very proud of the fact that we have over 600 people who have visited our website and who have asked to receive information about the trust. We will be sending out an email communication to that base, letting them know, reminding them of the March 5th deadline and reminding them to sign up for some of these other important web portals. We've had about 60 downloads of the EOIs, expressions of interest. We're very pleased about that. And, you know, as the trustees and Vince and the trust manager and I talk about all the time, this is brand new. And we're working to educate the population, the community, the residents of New Jersey and businesses of New Jersey about offshore wind. So we're educating on the subject of offshore wind while we're trying to introduce the existence of available dollars. So we consider ourselves a work in progress. Happy to always take constructive criticism here to answer questions as best I can, and just so grateful for the work of these volunteer trustees who are helping us get off the ground, and chambers and other groups who are willing to allow us to talk about this exciting opportunity. So Lori, I'll stay on camera. If there's anything else anybody needs from me, I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think we're gonna close out. I just want to thank Julia and Vince, and I want to offer, you know, if Michael and Vicki have some final comments. And again, thank everybody for being here this morning. This is really exciting, especially for the shore counties. We want everyone to have the right information. We want everyone to get off on a right start about knowing about these funds. Again, Michael, Vicki, if you'd like to help us close out.
Go ahead, Vicki, if you want to start. Always ladies first. She there? Maybe she stepped away for a second. But no, this is tremendous information. And we'll keep sharing it and keep pushing it to the business community here in Atlantic County, as the other chambers are doing. The more people that have this information, the better we all are. So I encourage everybody to take this information, what you learned today. We're going to have a video later. Whenever Lori and Liz and her team send it out, we'll be pushing it out on social media. But, you know, you have until March 5th to just express that you're interested. So take advantage of it and sign up to get more information about it through that website. Incredible information. Thank you so much for working together with us, Lori and Liz. You guys are absolutely tremendous. So Vince, great seeing you. We're looking forward to sharing this information and taking advantage of this tremendous program. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, so I don't know if Vicki is still available. Oh wait, I think she's waiting to enter the room. She might have been bounced out. I think we have her here. Okay. So, and I also see we're getting a lot of questions in the chat. Liz, I know that you probably have access to this, so we'll certainly, you know, be responding to these questions, I guess, after we get offline. But one of it was, can I apply for the startup business? I say, please do send in a letter of expression of interest. And certainly the trust manager, or contact the trust manager directly for that. And we also have a question about Vince's position, which I had introduced him before as the Director of New Jersey Market Affairs for Orsted. So I just wanted to answer those questions off the bat. And again, if Vicki is, oh, here she is. If you'd like to say just some final words, Vicki, and we're gonna sign off.
Oh, I lost my internet there for a minute, so I had a little trouble getting back on. No, I just, I think it's a wonderful program, and was very excited to see the breadth of businesses that are able to participate. So it's a great opportunity for so many types of businesses, you know, within the footprint of the project. And we're excited to see, you know, businesses in our area take the opportunity. So thanks so much for the information.
Thank you. So we're gonna close out this morning. Again, we really appreciate everyone being here. The information is available at pro-njtrust.org, and contact your chambers for any more information regarding this particular program. We'll have it available to you, the slide packet, slide deck, as well as the recording. So Thank you again to Greater Atlantic City Chamber and to Cape May County Chamber for joining us. And thank you again to Vince, Julia, and Liz for also being a part of this presentation. We really do appreciate it, and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.